What's up, YouTube? I have a real great video for you guys today, and I've actually been sitting on this one for a couple of days because there wasn't a great option to use this tool, but now there is, so I'm going to show you how to get started and what your options are. Also, at the end of this video, I have a short demo of an upcoming video for more revolutionary technology. I know, it's moving kind of fast, right? Today's topic is about a tool that combines GPT-3 with text-to-image, so we can now tell Stable Diffusion what we want Photoshop into or out of our picture. It's like extreme image-to-image with in-painting and out-painting just using text. By the way, if you don't know what GPT-3 is, it's basically what ChatGPT is based on, and it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3, and it's more capable than ChatGPT, but it needs more direct instruction. So it's like taking the chat out of ChatGPT, but it can still understand you most of the time. This new tool is called Pix2Pix, and it's like if
a combination of Fergie and Jesus.
Or it's like if ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, and Photoshop had a baby. That's pretty wild considering there's 3 parties involved there, but it's not a party unless there's at least 3 people, right? All joking aside, there's actually some logic to this description because it has the functionality of Photoshop, and I'm gonna say kind of has it because if you know what you're doing in Photoshop, you can do some amazing things. But this tool is a great start for people who don't know how to use Photoshop and could just use text to kind of describe what they want. I'm not gonna go over the example pictures on the site since you could kind of see what's happening in here. Somebody added fireworks and there was fireworks, and there's also a lot of other YouTubers that have already done that. And so I'm just gonna jump into it and show you the 3 different methods how to use it. Let's go over the first way to use this tool, and that's simply by scrolling to the top of the Instruct Pix2Pix page, and then you can click on the demo button right there, and it'll bring you to a Hugging Face site where you don't have to sign up, you don't have to do anything but drag your picture in, and you can get started. If you just wanted to get started and you didn't have a picture in mind, just go ahead and click on Load Example, and it'll give you a picture of a statue. It'll usually take about 30 seconds, and it's also going to write in an example prompt for you. Here it says it's going to take 13 seconds, but it really depends. I mean, this site takes anywhere from like 13 seconds to 10 minutes. If you start running into that problem or it's taking very long, go to the next methods that I show you. As you see here, it said convert to a bronze statue, and it turned it into a bronze statue. And if you look at it, the details are flawless. It looks like it was always a bronze statue, and that's pretty amazing. I mean, that's better than I can ever do in Photoshop. So again, this method it's pretty easy to use, no sign up, but it does kind of vary in terms of waiting 15 seconds versus waiting 10 minutes. So this is not a Stable Diffusion tutorial, but these steps here and everything are similar to Stable Diffusion. And if you look to the bottom here, you'll see some options. You'll see steps, fixed seed, and also text CFG and image CFG. So these are all pretty standard Stable Diffusion options, but this is not a Stable Diffusion tutorial, so I'm not going to go 5 minutes into it, but I'll give a quick breakdown. But if you want more detailed stuff, you can actually look down here and it gives you kind of the breakdown of what each step does. But steps is basically the quality. So 10 to 50 is a good amount. I think 50, just leave it there. And fixed seed, don't worry about touching that. That's more advanced if you want like the same seed number, and it's like an ID number for your picture. Then CFG, these are the weights. So text, we have a text weight and we have an image weight. And what it's set to now is a pretty good value, with the image weight being 1.5 and the text weight being 7.5. So once you go over 11 on the text, it's going to go crazy. And then with the image weights, you don't want to play with it too much, but go ahead and experiment. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, you can wait like 30 seconds. So go ahead and mess up the image, but just if you're not getting what you want, just bring it back to these values here. All right, so I was messing around and I asked it to give him a dog face, and it looks pretty cool actually. I think if I specified the type of dog, it would have kind of gave different results, but yeah, look at that. So let's try one more now. Let's try to add Woody in here, just kind of like the example pictures on the site. So to do that, just go ahead and get rid of this picture by clicking the X here to get rid of it, and then just drag your picture in. When you're dragging in, it has to be over the text. If you drag it in here, nothing's going to happen. It's going to go to a new web page. So just drag it right there. Then now you can click on this little pencil button to kind of crop it in. And if you have like stuff that you don't want in the picture, just go ahead and crop it in so you don't have to look at that. So I cropped it in and just leave it like that. And then you can type what you want here. So I'm going to type, let me see. All right, so I put turn into a Western and give him a beard. Let's see what that gives us. And it did a pretty good job. It still has the long face and it has the beard all the way down. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. He even has the scowling eyes. He has a little bit of cleft lip there, but it's pretty neat. It clearly displays the power of this tool. And if you remember back in the days, there was the alternative alternative image to image, and this is kind of like that, but on steroids. So it's a lot more detailed and a lot more kind of easier to work with. I had to do one more of Woody, and I added the word manga cover art, and it turned him into this anime style or manga style character. So it's pretty great. You can imagine the things you can do with this. I mean, it's a pretty fun tool. This next method is the preferred method, and what you're looking at right now is PlaygroundAi, and this site is simply stunning. And it's pretty much like Mid-Journey quality on the pictures here. Look at this stuff here and tell me I'm wrong. I mean, stuff here is pretty amazing, and people make some really nice art here. And the cool thing is that you get 1,000 free images. 1,000. I mean, who needs more than 1,000, right? And it's free. The only downside, if you can call it a downside, is that you have to register for an account. But really, you just click on this and you can register through your Google account, and that's it. I mean, you're in. And you can create 1,000 free images per day. There are some pricing stuff and things to consider, but I'll do a video on that. But you get 1,000 free images, and you can use a tool just like the Pix2Pix on here. So I'm going to show you that in a second. But look at these pictures, man. Tell me this is not amazing. So if you haven't checked out this site, sign in today and check it out. It's pretty amazing. To get started, it's pretty simple. You just go to the top right here and press create. And then now you can upload an image. So you see here this blue text that says import image. Just go ahead and click on that. But before we click on that, let's take a look at some of the samples that it has here. So it shows you some cool things that you can do with it, adding filters, turning it into like origami, Play-Doh. I would take a look at this to see what you can do with it. Here it says suggest putting sunglasses to the face, which we're going to try right now. So let's click on import image, and I have an image in mind, so I'm going to paste it in there. Cool. So now we have this girl. And so we're going to actually it suggests add a mustache to face. Let me try that. Add a mustache face. So we're going to try that and generate that. Okay, let's see what it does. As advertised, and it was pretty quick. Like I didn't even have to stop the recording. It took like maybe 10 seconds. And look at this. Good job. It actually looks pretty natural is subjective, but look at that. I mean, it looks pretty damn nice. All right, let's add the shades now. Add shades. All right, so we added some Gucci shades and they look pretty nice. I mean, it looks pretty natural. It removed the mustache, but look at that. That's pretty amazing. So let's try something more advanced. So I want to just change this whole scenery here and just make it a sunset photo. So I'm just going to put sunset and see what it does. And let's see here. Sunset, generate. All right, and let's wait. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 seconds. So that's pretty quick there. All right, so let's take a look at this image and enlarge it, and you can see it added a sunset to it. Did it pretty nicely. So it is a little bit blurry when you look up close, but I'm sure you can add a little bit more things to make it better. One of the cool things is you can actually omit things by putting remove from image. So you can put in some negative prompts so it doesn't show up here. And I think that you might need to put blurry in this case, since this image came up a little blurry, but it might fix it. Who knows? Just keep trying things. Another really cool feature is you can actually edit the image. When you hover over the image, you get the option to edit the image, and then you can actually add a mask. So click on add a mask and then just color around like that object that you want to take out. And you can either put nothing, or you can put like, maybe I want like people here. So I typed in people, and then you'll notice here at the bottom there's a negative prompt. You can put what you want to remove, and at the top right there's edit instruction, strength, and quality and details. So no explanation needed there. And a seed, I already told you what a seed is, and it's for to get an ID basically of what you're creating, so you can create it again. But if you look over here, there's actually learn how to edit if you want to learn a lot more about this tool. And the funny thing is, like, it goes to a video that only has like 981 subscribers.
New way to edit.
Which is kind of funny because that's only just a little bit more than I have, and it's like a big program. It's like it's a big app, and they only have like 981 subscribers. Interesting. So I'm gonna subscribe. Damn it, I'm not signed in. But yeah, so it'll give you a complete rundown on how to work with this tool and everything in PlaygroundAi, which I suggest you definitely get into because this is pretty cool. PlaygroundAi is up and coming. All right, so this is the result of that prompt, and it's a little weird. I mean, the people are very shadowed, but it's still kind of following what I asked it to do, which is put people within this small kind of mask, and it did that. So kudos, it did it pretty good. And also keep in mind, because it's a sunset photo, a lot of things are going to be darkened. So you can probably work with a daytime photo and get better results when and more details when you ask for people to be in the photo. Also, you got to consider the size and dimensions of the mask that you create and how many people could fit in there. So that's maybe if I put person, it'd be a little bit better, but it's a pretty small circle that was supposed to fit chairs. So if you ask for people to be in there, it's going to be a little weird, right? All right, so now I'm going to ask for fireworks. So I'm going to take out this mask here and I edit the mask, delete it, and then go back here and put fireworks. And let's see what it gives us with fireworks. And this site is super quick. It takes an average of 5 to 6 seconds per prompt. Even if you put a lot of quality and detail, it still goes pretty fast. And so here it looks a pretty amazing picture here. So there's fireworks over the water. It's reflecting off the water. Looks pretty nice. It doesn't look like the original photo, but you can mess with it to try and get better results. I'm gonna try it one more time to see what it looks like. And there you go. It looks pretty nice. So does pretty good with the fireworks. This one kind of looks like spaghetti, so might have to redo that. And there's some weird shadows here, but more times than not, I get good results. All right, so I think you got a pretty good feel for the Playground AI method, but just keep in mind that this is not just for editing photos. This site also allows you to generate 1,000 free pictures once you sign up. So sign up for this site today and go check it out because, I mean, the art it generates is pretty nice and comparable to Midjourney. So I personally think so, and I think that it's really catching up and it looks beautiful. Alrighty, this third and final method is to do it through Stable Diffusion. And if you haven't messed with Stable Diffusion before, I have a Stable Diffusion 2.1 installation tutorial that I'll put in my video description, but it's relatively simple to install it. So if you haven't messed with Stable Diffusion for a while, you're gonna have to update it. First way to update it is to go into your web UI user bat file. So just go ahead and right click on that, and then you can go into show more options if you're on Windows 11, and then click on edit, and then it should bring up the notepad. And if it doesn't bring it up in the notepad, then just open it up in a notepad. Okay, so to get it to update every time you open Stable Diffusion is pretty simple. You just type in git pull and you just put that right before the call webui.bat and you're good to go. Just click on file, save, and close it. And just start up Stable Diffusion like you normally would, and it'll update. I'm actually not a fan of the git pull method, and I like to do it manually. I like to go to the actual site and just grab the files because I don't like it when it's just automatically updating when it doesn't need to, and it's pulling in files that I'm not really sure what it is. I'm just trusting whatever comes in and out, and this is not like baseline kind of software. It's very experimental, and I know automatic 1111 is pretty stable, but it's just kind of, you never know, right? So why do you have to do that every single time? So I'm gonna wait a few days until people work out the kinks, and then I'll download the files manually. There was also times where Stable Diffusion had some legal issues, and each of those times they were basically banned from GitHub. So they also banned you from using Stable Diffusion if you were using git pull. So that's another reason you don't want to do it. And the third reason is because it's really simple just to grab the files and update it manually. So here I am on the automatic 1111 Stable Diffusion web UI site. So all you got to do is click on the code button and then click on download zip. Then you just grab these zip files and then just put it into your Stable Diffusion repository and copy over your existing files. And that's it. So all I'm doing now is just grabbing those files from the zip files that I just downloaded from the automatic 1111 site, and I'm just dragging it into the Stable Diffusion folder and replacing all the files in the destination. And that's it. Once that's done, just go ahead and click on the web UI user.bat file and run it, and then it'll update everything for you. All right, so the next step is to get the CKPT file, and that's a checkpoint file. And there's a link in my description for Hugging Face for Tim's Brook instruct tag Pix2Pix, and I would choose this one to make sure you don't get a checkpoint file that's dirty. But let's go click on files and versions, and then over here you'll find the actual download. And you got one of two files to choose from here. There's the CKPT and the Safe Tensors one. So the Safe Tensors one is one that's been scanned for pickles, and that's the safer option. But this is an official link, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on the CKPT file. You can do whatever you want. Once you click on that, you'll get to this site, and there's a really tiny download button. So go ahead and click on that, and it'll be downloading, and that's 7.7 gigs. So that's going to take a while, but we need that. So download it. Speaking on clicking on stuff, if you like this video so far, go ahead and click on the like button, or if it's helped you out, or if you want to share it with everyone and tell them that this is a good video to watch, go ahead and click on that like button. Also, if you like all things AI and want to learn more about AI and things to simplify your life and the new technologies that come out with AI, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. All right, when the download's complete, just go into your Stable Diffusion folder, then go into your models folder, and then Stable Diffusion, and then drag it into your Stable Diffusion models Stable Diffusion folder. As you can see, it's right here. Where is it? Instruct Pix2Pix 00. So that's the file that we downloaded from Hugging Face, and I drag it right into here. All right, so after you've done all that, you have to go back up to folders and go to your web UI user.bat file again, because you're gonna have to reload it. So I'm gonna reload mine, and we're gonna see what happens. But once everything's installed, it's gonna say running on local URL 127.0.0.17860, which is the port, and then you're gonna put that into your browser so you could run Stable Diffusion. Once you got Stable Diffusion up and running, just go ahead and click on the Extensions tab and then look for Available. So there's sub tab for Available and then click on Load From. Then through here, you should be able to find the Pix2Pix. Control F, Pix2Pix. And I found mine all the way down here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Install. And that's it. Just wait for it to install. So it said installed. It took like 2 seconds for me. So once it's in there, just go into installed. And you're probably going to have to actually restart your Stable Diffusion to get this to work. I'm going to restart right now. Apply and restart UI. Once you reload your UI, you should see a tab like this that says Instruct Tag Pix2Pix. And that's the tab that we need here. And I didn't see it right away, so I actually had to restart Stable Diffusion altogether and close down my command prompt and run it again. But that's not typical, and it should show up after you reload it. But you're not done yet. You actually have to click on the drop-down arrow here and choose the Instruct Pix2Pix tab. So if you remember, this is the actual file that we put into the models folder of the Stable Diffusion folders. Yours might say .savetensors, but mine says .ckpt, and this is the one right here, Instruct Pix2Pix. Just choose that, and then it's going to start loading the new file. If you don't see it right away, go ahead and click on this little refresh button right here, and that should bring it up. And that will start loading stuff in your command prompt, and you're going to start to see things happen. And as soon as everything's good to go again and it's ready to, you're ready to start Stable Diffusion up again, go ahead and go back into Stable Diffusion. Everything should look like mine. All right, once everything's in order, go ahead and click on the Instruct Pix2Pix tab and then make sure you have the correct checkpoint file before you continue. Then you could drag an image right here where it says drop an image. So I'm going to drag in an image that I used earlier. Right here, you might remember the red head that we added shades to. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give her Gucci shades again, and we're going to click generate and see how long that takes. All right, so it produced similar results and it looks pretty good, pretty nice here. And we can actually just kind of use this on our local install now. And it may be different for you if you don't have something like an RTX 3070 like I do, but it just might take just a little bit longer. Another option would be the PlaygroundAi site, which is lightning fast. It's like 5 seconds. It's actually faster than my computer, and it gives the same results. One thing that I found out that's a little bit weird with this tool is that when you try to add colors, like if you try to change your hair to brown, you'll notice that the background also changes color, which there's some ways around it, but it does by default kind of end up that way. So you can see it's not too much of a big problem if you gave her brown hair, but let's see if you give her blue hair. It actually goes crazy. Blue, green, or colors that are not natural to hair color seem to change the environment entirely. As you can see, it turned the entire picture blue. So she has blue hair, but she also has blue eyes and blue lips. And all you need to do to get better results is start putting things in the negative prompt that you see that are messing it up, like maybe blue background and green face or whatever happened to her that you don't like. And then go to this text CFG scale and try it lower, a little bit lower or a little bit higher, and then you'll eventually get the image that you want. I noticed that this problem existed when you use PlaygroundAi as well, but PlaygroundAi had the ability to mask out specific portions. So if you wanted to mask out the eyes or the hair, then you could change those things specifically. But right now, Stable Diffusion doesn't really have that option unless you move it somewhere else and bring it back, which is kind of a pain in the butt. After a little bit of testing, I noticed that lowering the CFG, the text CFG specifically, will actually kind of help with this and help try and reduce a lot of the background coloring and everything being colored. And you could also put negative prompts to try and prevent everything else from being the color blue. So another method that works is going the opposite direction, which is increasing the text CFG just slightly above 7. So I put it at 8.55, and then I took out the things that were making it go crazy. So the color green, her whole face was green, so I put green in the negative prompt to take it out. So she looked like She-Hulk, and now she looks pretty normal. So now I have what I want. I got the blue hair without the blue background, and it looks pretty much what I was asking for. Another cool thing you can do is batch processing. So I could take every picture in this folder and change them all at the same time and give them all blue hair at the same time. And of course, it takes quite a bit of computing power and takes longer than a single photo, but it doesn't take that long, actually. It took me about a minute to change all these photos the same way. So just go ahead and grab the address for this folder, copy it, and then you could put in Stable Diffusion. As you can see, it added blue hair to all the subjects that were in that folder. And how I did that is I just put the address for the folder right here in the directory for batch input images, and then I check mark this box right here where it says use batch input directory as image source. And that changed all the photos at the same time, and some of them ended up cartoony, so you're gonna have to mess with the negative prompt to fix it. And this is why it's better to do image to image, because you're gonna have to put negative prompts to kind of narrow it down. But let me try a lower text CFG and see if it kind of gives me better results. So the lower CFG gave us much better results, and it's kind of weird because I thought the lower the CFG scale was, the more creative the system gets, but maybe I'm confusing that with the CFG scale over here. Maybe this one's different. I don't know. But as you can see, there's no more cartoony people, and it looks pretty faithful to the original image with blue hair. So I did another one and I put just clowns in the prompt, and look what it did. So it did a pretty good job, and like they all look kind of creepy. So check it out, the face paint and stuff. It's pretty cool, and it did exactly what I expected it to do. And if I wanted to kind of hone down and make it like a little bit more creepy or whatever, I would just kind of do individual pictures. But look at this, it turned everything in this folder into clowns. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to take these normal cities and turn them into cyberpunk themed cities. All right, so the batch is done, and it gave us our cyberpunk cities, and I think it did a great job at all of these cities, and it does pretty good at turning things into cyberpunk with the neon lights. And but if there's words and stuff, it's gonna look funny. So I actually got Kodak here in UFC, which is interesting. So normally it can't spell, but it did pretty good there. But yeah, you can see that it did a great job for a lot of these, turning these cities into cyberpunk themes. You might be asking yourself, what's the benefit of using Stable Diffusion over PlaygroundAi or Hugging Face? And it's definitely the privacy. So you can throw in your own images, and you can start editing photos with yourself in there or your family, and not have to worry about it being like shared on the internet. And for a lot of people with the RTX cards, it might even be a lot faster, especially with the batch processing. And that's another thing, you can do batch processing. However, PlaygroundAi does have the masking, which you can do masking here, but then you would have to send it back and forth between the extras tab and then back to the instruct Pix2Pix. So that's not very efficient. But overall, I think that Stable Diffusion is the best way to use this. If you're going to use it a lot, it's definitely the best way to go. But PlaygroundAi is definitely a great option if you just want to do it quickly, or if you don't have a good computer, or if you just like PlaygroundAi because it's awesome. And then the first option I showed you, which is using Hugging Face, is a great option. If you don't want to sign up, you don't want to do this long term, you just want to try 1 or 2 pictures, and you just want to throw it in there and get started, that's a great option. Overall, I think it's a fun tool to play with, and I definitely think you can use this for commercial use. And in the future, it's definitely going to improve on itself, and you're going to see more of it in that realm of being used for photo manipulation. Same thing as Photoshop, but for more of the casual user that doesn't need to know the techniques. They can just type in a few things of what they want, and they're going to get exactly what they want, which is crazy. So that's all I had for Pix2Pix, but I'm going to show you a new technology that's even cooler. So it's like Pix2Pix, but instead of pictures, it's videos. So it's live editing of videos, which is pretty amazing, and I don't even know how it's done. But you could change a moving car into like some steampunk or cyberpunk, or you could even change it into a rusty car, and there's a lot of examples on this site. So I'm going to leave that for my end video, and you guys can check that out. Unfortunately, there's not a good way to use this tool, so I'm not going to do a tutorial on it anytime soon, but when it does come out, I'm definitely going to share it with you guys. If you like this video or you learned something new, go ahead and click the thumbs up button. This will tell everyone else that this is a great video, so you should go check it out, and it'll also tell the YouTube algorithm to go share it with everyone else. I would really love that. Also, thanks for watching the video, and take it easy.
Thank you for watching, and as always, sayonara, aloha, hafa day, adios, zaijian, alvida, annyeong, pa el lam, and please